I want to go to the super chats in a minute. I want to go to the super chats in a moment, and some of the comments that have come in. In terms of this weekend's game, I'm going to go to Gal first on this. Who's coming out with the W? Manchester City or Liverpool?
They draw again. And only reason why I say that is because Man City's defense is terrible. They can't keep a clean sheet if their life depended on it. And Liverpool, if their attack performs anything like it did versus Aston Villa, you could see a situation where they come out of there with a draw. So I'm going to give it a draw. And with Erling Haaland being rested after not playing versus Man City versus Real Madrid, hopefully he gets to start and he bags a couple goals.
Does that mean Phil Foden has to turn up?
No, Phil Foden doesn't have to turn up because he hasn't been all season. Erling Haaland can do the job
by himself.
Yeah, because he's capable of doing that, unlike Phil Foden.
Okay.
I mean,
am I wrong?
Am I wrong? Impact though,
am I wrong?
Haaland doesn't.
Haaland can't do.
1 second. That's like saying Mo Salah doesn't turn up for Liverpool every week, and somebody else has to turn up.
But Mo Salah could pick up the ball and create.
If Mohamed Salah's not scoring goals, Mohamed Salah's impacting games by assisting and creating. Hence why he has the most assists this season and is on course to break the playmaking record.
Hence why
if Erling Haaland is not being given the ball in the box, what impact does he have on the football match?
Why do you have that kind of breath for Erling Haaland but not Phil Foden?
The breath.
Oh my God.
Wait, what?
Oh my God, how the fuck?
Wait, what?
Why do you have that hot breath for Erling Haaland but not Phil Foden?
Now wait, wait, buddy gal. I think that we're just talking about the skill sets of both players, right? So, for example, Erling Haaland is the best finisher in world football, right? In front of the goal, in the box, he's elite. But his overall game, Haaland does not pick up the ball from the halfway line and create for teammates. So if Haaland's not getting service, then he might as well not be on the pitch. I think that's kind of what we're saying. Like, Haaland can't do it by himself.
But the difference,
that's what we're trying to say.
The difference goes back to one thing. He asked me about Foden. I didn't bring it up, guys, just in case you guys don't know. Toon brought it up. So let me be the evil guy who brings up Phil Foden one more time. Finally.
Get that breath. Get that breath
out. End it off. Phil Foden could play for 90 minutes and not have a moment of brilliance. Erling Haaland could play for 90 minutes, not do absolutely nothing, and still bag you a hat trick.
So that's what he's bagging you the hat trick from the service of his teammates, though.
Right.
Not because he did something.
He's not bagging that. He's not picking up the ball.
He is the talisman.
Passing through three people, playing a 1-2 Gonzalez.
Same way Mo Salah is one of the key players in Liverpool. We don't expect. What do you call it? Let me give you an example. We didn't expect Roberto Firmino to be winning Premier League Player of the Year, PFA Player of the Year. He was a great player. He was a wonderful player. We don't criticize him because he's not held to a standard the same level as Mo Salah. But Foden is being held to a standard, but he's not performing to that standard. That's where my issue is. But you guys keep going back to this
one season.
But I mentioned Foden can impact games more than Haaland can. I mentioned Foden has the skill set to pick up the ball and to do different
things.
Doesn't Erling Haaland cannot do that.
Why doesn't he do it?
No, but Igal, you're undoing your own argument. I mentioned Phil Foden because you said you're going that Liverpool, City are going to draw with Liverpool. So I said to you, that means Phil Foden has to perform then. And then you said Haaland can score goals by himself. The whole point is, no, he can't score goals by himself. He needs a creative player behind him, whether it's a Phil Foden, whether it's a De Bruyne, whether it's somebody. But the man that is probably going to be playing behind him is Phil Foden. Hence why I said you need Phil Foden to turn up then if you want that draw.
1 second. How many goals does Erling Haaland have this season in the league?
About 21, I think.
Okay. How many of those were impacted or assisted by Phil Foden? Because Phil Foden doesn't have a good season this season.
I'm doing your own argument here.
Much.
Well, Foden is involved in like the build-up.
1 second. You were telling me Foden has to have a good game in order for Man City to get a draw. I'm saying that's not true. Erling Haaland this season has been still performing well, where Man City, the rest of the team, have not been performing well. Where Phil Foden has been performing just as bad as the rest of his team.
So your expectation is that Haaland by himself is going to beat Liverpool or going to get the draw against Liverpool?
I'm saying Erling Haaland, you give him a chance, he can bury
Who's going to give him that chance? Who?
Well, Savio's there,
there's 10 other players on the.
But who do you think's going to do it, Igal?
Savio, baller.
There's so many other Man City creators that could create chances.
Yeah,
It doesn't only have to come from Phil Foden.
No, I understand, but I'm asking you who you think will. Like, it's not. But this is not a Phil Foden conversation for me. It's like, who do you think is going to do that?
No,
Who do you
it
think is going to step up
clearly
for
is.
City?
It
No,
clearly
it's not
is.
for me. I want to know who you think stepping up for City this weekend. Genuine question.
It's gonna have to be the combination of Marmoush and Erling Haaland doing something.
Okay.
But who's going to provide them the service for them to put away their chances? Though?
Right.
They're gonna have to get.
I think Savio.
They're gonna have to get the ball off Ederson from Ederson once again.
Yeah,
if anything, because the midfield has been non-existent.
In fairness, long balls over the top could work. I think Savio versus Robertson will be a very, very, very good battle in this game.
But wouldn't Foden be on the right?
No,
What if Savio be going against Trent?
No, Savio. I mean, sorry. When I was looking at Phil Foden's stats when we were talking then, and it varies from game to game. When he had that good run recently where he scored, I think in 4 games, 5 games on the bounce. I think he scored like 7 goals in 4 games. He was a mixture of on the right wing and in the attacking midfield role. So
I got another question, Terry. Who's scoring a goal for Liverpool if Erling Haaland, Salah doesn't contribute? Because if Salah doesn't contribute, they don't get goals.
Gakpo can score goals. Luis Diaz can score some goals, as an example. Trent popped up with a goal yesterday. McAllister bombing in from the box can score goals.
Mo Salah's at the heart of most of them. If he's not contributing,
of course, he absolutely is. But remember, Mo Salah is that guy that's just there at the right time. So even his goal last night, everyone was tapping. Take Mo Salah out that team. Most forwards don't get into that position. They don't smell it. There's an instinct. I saw this at United with Ronaldo when people forget what Ronaldo did to football. Ronaldo was a right midfield player, and then he changed the game, and he used to like come in late at the far post. Nobody was doing that with any regularity before him. It's not like he left though, and Nani and Valencia all watched these videos and started doing it, because those elements of your game are instinctual. However, with Mo Salah, he still needs to have people feed that ball to him. He still needs the ball worked into the box or into those areas. It's a team sport. So, yeah, look, if Salah if Salah is out and Salah misses the game, Liverpool become a less potent side due to his brilliance, but there are other players that can score. We'll do score predictions in a minute because I want to speak on Arsenal before the end of the show. There's a few super chats here I want to jump to, though, because I don't want to disrespect the audience here. It says, is this Klopp phase 10 or slot phase 1? He did not buy a new midfielder. Then he needs he didn't buy a new midfielder that needed to be replaced anyway. But how does this slots deal with Salah, VVD, and Trent potentially leaving? I'm going to answer the first question. It's really interesting because if you do the attacks on Arteta, if Slot wins the league this year, it's not his trophy, it's Klopp's, because it's not his team. Remember I said earlier about you set a precedent and you create a narrative, it undoes your own club. So any Liverpool fans that do the whole Arteta didn't win the FA Cup, it was Unai Emery's team, Slot doesn't get a medal, in your opinion. However, this isn't phase 1 for Slot. I don't know what the phase would be because I don't think Liverpool use that phrase, but this is a continuation from what they started under Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool. It is a club project that
phase 1 will be the summer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's phase, but you could argue it's phase 1 for Slot in terms of his players, but your club is not. Your Slot said this in an interview. I want to say it was before you played Newcastle. It was on BT Sport, and they asked him around all the things he's changed since he took over from Klopp, and he literally said barely anything. A few subtle changes to the team. It isn't a new style of play, and it's a new voice that might have reinvigorated some players. And that, for me, when I heard that, I was like, yes, that's what, when my club changes managers, hopefully when we're good in the future, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, yeah, I like what I'm doing. It's going to take 3 or 4 years for me to build my team. That would shit me up.
Phase isn't the right word. I think what you'll see in the summer, once we're able to move on certain failures of record signings and stuff and bring in the right profiles, is you'll see more of a movement away from the Klopp principles into the Slot principles. I think right now you're playing Jurgen Klopp football with a twist of Arne Slot. I think what the plan is by the end of the summer to be playing Arne Slot football that can still go and have elements of Klopp ball. Which
evolution.
It's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool
evolution, not complete rebuild, and that there and that's because the thing with the rebuilds are when they happen, it's often like, right, we're stopping this, we're starting something new. But when you're very good, you don't need to do that, right. And I think that's what that's why the word rebuild, it gets not overused, but the context is out. City need a rebuild of their squad. They don't need a rebuild of the footballing philosophy, the hierarchy, the training ground. They just need some new players that can run.
But
have
it's
a quick
essential they
question
keep
for
Mo
Tom.
Salah, because if they lose Mo Salah, Terry, they will go back.
Well,
to
they need to go.
rebuild.
They need to go and get Isak if they lose Salah or someone of
Yeah, I
that
have a
ilk.
quick question for Tom. Tom, do you think
Mhm.
that your board's gonna do enough though? Like if you do lose those 3 players, like because I don't have confidence that your
If
board
we,
will spend the money
I'd
required.
be very
Why?
shocked if we lost all 3. I'd be very shocked if we lost all 3, and I think that would put an all. I don't think we'd replace all 3 of them if they all left. I don't think all 3 are going to go. I think Trent will go, but I'd like to think the other 2 stay. In that
Okay.
case, we will. I think we will do enough because we're. I don't think you understand how many players are going to leave the football club this summer. I think if you watch the way we play, if you watch the players that we use and the players that get minutes, Arnie Slot has made it very clear there are certain players who are not part of his long-term plans, and that will bring in a lot of money for us, which we can then use to buy the players who are in the plans.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer indeed. Liverpool glazing is getting a bit jarring. Since the United game, they have played 14 in all competitions, won 7, half of which was shaky as hell. All that is keeping them ahead is a very good start. Igal, are you getting confidence? Do you think if they lose against City this weekend, do you think even with your injuries, you could take advantage of that and close the gap to 5 points, and then potentially, because you'll have a game in hand, down to 2 points? Do you think Arsenal will do that?
We just need to weather the storm. If we weather the storm and get Bukayo Saka and Martinelli back, we can definitely do something in the second half of the season. But first, we got to get through this game versus West Ham. We beat Nottingham Forest. I think Liverpool will start shaking it and feeling it even more. And now that we have the game in hand, Terry, we will always have that little like safety blanket. Even though Liverpool are ahead of us, we have the game in hand, and we'll still be playing, I think, before them the next couple of weeks. So yeah, best of luck. But we do have the tougher fixtures, so we need to win our games and see where we are once Bukayo Saka and Martinelli get back. And right now, they are lucky that we don't have a fully fit squad, because if we don't need a new 20-goal a season striker to beat this Liverpool team. If we had our fit squad, we would have won this league.
Wow. Okay. But wow. Okay. First of all, your game in hand lasts for 2 games because it gets done over when we play the Carabao Cup final. So it's not like our one, which was 2.5 months of the constant game in hand playing there. Yeah, we did. So it was a point gained. Well done. That's how games in hand work. We gained the points on you.
Yes, you gained a point yesterday. Why your fans losing their shit?
I'm not speaking for Saucy Salah 11. I am not Saucy Salah 11. I'm Tom Little. I'm not arsed. We drew with Aston Villa.
No, but you're giving them. You know how I know you're feeling it, Tom? You know how I know you're feeling it, Tom? Because you're sitting here giving inspirational speeches to your fan base. So even though
you wouldn't do that, Igal. You wouldn't do that, Igal, would you?
Even though you're not
I'll tell you what, Igal,
negative. You're feeling it. Second hand by second hand. By having
I don't know many.
Igal, you're right. Igal is right. Cook him, Igal. Cook him.
No, I don't know many inspirational speeches someone can give where you start it off by saying these people whose arses are falling out need to fuck off. That's not very inspirational to tell them your arse is falling out.
Let's get back to some of these.
Maybe that's the Scouse way.
I've got a few more super chats to do here. Every time Igal talks about Arsenal being better than another team, I just have a quick flashback to the Arsenal versus Madrid 11 he did a year or 2 ago.
That was bad, Igal. That was bad, brother.
I was wrong. I put my hand up.
Was it 9 Arsenal players?
I think that he only put 2 of our players in there.
No. People make mistakes, and it was actually, if I'm going to defend myself, at the time we're playing well, and I said injuries. I took out all injured players.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. That's a red card. That's a red card. So red card. You got to be sent off for that, man.
Anyways, fair play.
Thank you, Dejo, for that. Sonny here says City looking for blood after Madrid. Saka and Martinelli coming back to this title finale will be epic. Do you know what I hope for? And no, it's not because I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm hoping that Liverpool do lose their next game and it goes to 5 points. And then I hope that Arsenal win the game in hand and it goes to 2 points. And I hope there's a 2-point gap up until the game at Anfield. Purely from a spectator point of view.
89 all over again.
Imagine that game at Anfield. Is that 1 or 2 games before the end of the season? It's quite close, right?
3 games.
Imagine that game at Anfield 3 games before the end of the season.
That'd be crazy.
And that's, as much as there are people that don't like Arsenal that want to see him fall off earlier, and I get why. People that don't like Liverpool want to see him. Like the Man United fan in me would love Liverpool to lose their next 5 games, so I know they're not doing number 20, right? 100%. But the sort of content creator in me, someone who sits here talking with fellow fans like yourselves, I want to see it go to that game because just the anxiety, the toxicity, the joy, that game would just be absolutely amazing. And I feel like we haven't had a sort of type. The last time I remember a title decider like that, Man United, Man City played each other where Vincent Kompany scored the winner, and then the game or two later was the Aguero goal. But I don't remember there being very many where the two teams in the title race played each other with a couple of games to go. I can't remember there being many like that where it was close. So we will see.
Liverpool
Who would win in a fight, Tom or Igal? Igal wins a fight. I think Igal would beat up Tom. Tom's a lovely lad, but he doesn't eat food. He literally told us when we were away in Germany over the summer that if he didn't need it to stay alive, he wouldn't eat. So that means he has very little nutrients, which means he can't fight. Didn't you say points on the board matter, Igal? Oh.
That was an answer I was
I
hearing
don't
for
disagree with
2
that.
months.
Yeah.
I don't.